Welcome, 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 everybody. Flip the Script, Volume 5. We've been doing this once a quarter, and Kyle and I both come from the same background. We're local real estate broker, investor, broker owners, partners in Rhode Island, Connecticut, southeastern Massachusetts. So we put this content out to educate, to hopefully grow our businesses, to grow awareness about what we do. And so if you're following this, understand that you're not watching YouTube sensations, you're not watching content creators per se, you're watching local people. So if you're interested in learning about that, you should follow Kyle. If you're watching on Facebook, Insta, YouTube, follow, like, follow, share, subscribe where you're at. We're going to dig into what's going on in the real estate market, hopefully provide some nuggets of insight that will help you if you're involved in any of those sectors in any way, shape, or form. So 2023, we all know, was a tough year. Rates, inventory. What's going to get us out of the mud in 24? What do you see going on?
So, I mean, rates, obviously, towards the tail end, right? Rates in the tail end, they started to spike, and they spiked fast, right? Yep. So second half of the year, you saw this massive increase in rates, and affordability went down. Buyers slowed down. Inventory was already slow, and it ticked up a little bit. We need people, sellers, buyers who own homes to start to say, at some point, I'm going to list my home because I have to make a move, whether it's downsizing, upgrading, upsizing, relocation, affordability, whatever that looks like. We need people to realize that now that rates have come back down, don't miss the next bus. And I think that's what you're going to see come spring. I know for me personally that the start of this year was way better than the start of last year.
Way better.
I've been 10 times busier this year than I was last year, and probably even the previous year. So it's not even that there's been a lot more pendings or a lot more closed or a lot more offers that have been accepted. There's a lot more activity. And activity today leads to closings in 3 months, right? Leads to pendings in 3 months, leads to new listings in 3 months. So for me, when I look at it, I say, okay, the activity has been so much stronger, it should definitely kind of relay into a nicer market going forward.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. It's the background, like the last 6 months of last year was probably, in the past 4 or 5 years, the worst downturn we've ever had personally, watching our numbers, our sales, and the work effort was there for the most part. You can always get better, but the work effort was there, and we started refining a lot of our systems in the background, figuring things out. But we were kind of getting poised for this, which I think is what's coming. I've seen a lot of reports that the spring market's going to come early.
I agree.
And it's going to be
early and often.
Yeah, early and often. So I'll leave that one alone. But the truth be told is, if you're hearing this, how would you respond to that though? So say you're a buyer or you're a seller. Like, you can look at it both. Maybe you're a real estate investor. If you want to cover all three categories, what would you do knowing that we're predicting that the spring market's going to be here, rates are going to be lower? How do you respond to that?
If I'm a seller, I'm putting my house on the market tomorrow.
Okay.
No question. I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting to see what happens. I'm not worried about the weather. I'm not worried about the winter. Houses are priced right, they're moving. Mm-hmm. If I'm a buyer, I'm understanding, and I'm talking to my lender, and I'm getting my max affordability figured out on a pre-approval.
Right.
I'm understanding and walking through plenty of properties, so I know when I walk through, if I need to waive an inspection, I know what I'm looking at. Mm-hmm. I'm understanding what my monthly payment is based on current taxes in certain cities and certain houses. I'm going into every property ready to make an offer. And I'm going into every property ready to make an offer at or above asking price on every single property.
What if you're a buyer and you hear the interest rates are going to come down? So why don't I wait till they come down? And then if they're at 6.5 now, what if they go to 5.5? I can buy it some more affordable. What would you tell somebody waiting for that reason?
You can wait for nothing though, because there may not be enough houses out there, because there may be so much more demand when that happens. So what's going to happen is, if we don't see a supply increase to match the demand increase, you're going to be in a worse situation. Mm-hmm. So it's like what I say to people all the time. We talk about splits and commissions and all that sort of stuff on the agent side. I say 100% of zero is zero. You can go get 100% commission somewhere else, but if you don't sell anything, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter what you do with regard to, if you're waiting for something that may never come true or come to fruition, it's irrelevant. So I say you go now.
I've been, I probably mentioned this in here before. I know I mentioned you. I know people have been waiting for the market to go down since 2016.
I know people that are waiting for the market to go down since 2012.
Yeah.
And they're still waiting.
And it's going to be worse than the last one. It's going to be.
They're going to die before that happens.
You know what it is? It's a proven fallacy that people will look at history in 10 years or 5 years back. If you start going 100 years back and saying how common was something, and it's happened one time in 100 years,
common.
It's probably not going to happen.
It's not going to happen again.
And you're not going to predict the future by looking 5 or 10 years in the rear view. You're going to predict the future by looking way back or not predict it at all and just focus on what you can control. Right?
I mean, I got tons of people who are like basically been sitting on cash for 10 years, praying the market declines, and it just goes up every year. So they've missed so many opportunities.
Imagine you take $1 million in cash 7 years ago, and you got it now. Mm-hmm. You got $600,000.
If you took $1 million in cash,
if you're sitting
with inflation and everything,
with inflation, the value of it, you're going to buy
doubt.
$600,000 worth of goods and services.
1,000%, yeah.
And you know, I mean, hopefully you had it in the bank or somewhere where you don't have it in a box where somebody's going to come steal it from you too.
But even what you can afford, even the house, the value went up so much on these houses that your $1 million goes nowhere.
Right.
It doesn't do anything.
So speaking of spending millions, development. Mm-hmm. We're seeing a lot of the cities kind of universally pull back on some of the zoning restrictions, specifically regarding density with housing. Places like Providence, Rhode Island, saying, we used to tell you, oh, it's an undersized lot, you can only build a single family here. Now you're seeing builders get approval for 2.
Not yet.
Not yet, okay. So
no, I had a call this morning, not yet.
Cool. Tell me more.
The House and Senate and politicians are conflicted. Mm-hmm. They expect in the first quarter that the bill will pass. People expect that it will pass. I don't say the politicians, but people in general, the general public expects that the bill will pass, that ADUs, that undersized lots, that housing will be favorable towards development. Currently, as I am very involved in a business that definitely is favorable with ADUs, mm-hmm. we are running into a ton of pushback from cities and towns because they don't know what the law mandates. They don't understand what they can do. And until it becomes a statewide law, it's confusion.
Okay.
So a lot of builders are still waiting for this to pass before they put in their building permits.
Gotcha.
So that has not happened yet, and I know that for a fact.
And the ADUs, let's touch on that a little bit. I wasn't planning on going there, but let's talk about the tiny house business a little bit. Let's give that a minute. Tell me more about that.
So my partner and I opened up Anchored Tiny Homes, mm-hmm. and I am a passive investor. I am not building. I am not using my contract. We have stick-built 7 to 10 specialized versions of tiny homes, anywhere from 250 square feet to 750 square feet. We can do bigger as well. And the purpose is to capitalize on the momentum for dwelling units and to capitalize on the momentum for adding another unit, either converting a garage that's attached or detached, putting a tiny home in the back, right? Put one in the backyard. But there's a ton of, and I can tell you this, in the first 25 days of the year, we sent out 31 quotes of people that want tiny homes.
Wow.
We are just waiting on the cities and towns.
I mean, in a market where more and more people are looking at their home differently, where more and more people want to be mobile, where it's tougher to afford a home, where there's a housing shortage and a housing crisis. I mean, I rarely defend politicians, but we've heard some local politicians, the mayor of Providence, the Speaker of the House in Rhode Island, defend the idea that the only way to solve that housing crisis is to create more units, create more rentals, create more ownership.
The beauty of this system and the program is that the affordability of it is so nice. It's so affordable, meaning like you could put one of these on your lot, or you could put one of these in your garage, or you can convert for anywhere between 80 to 150,000. So think about it like that. You add an additional unit, you add another dwelling in the back, you convert a garage. Now for 80 to 150,000, give or take, depending on the finishes, right? You're now able to bring in extra rental income, $1,600 to $2,000, depending on where you are.
Quick segue on the tiny home piece. If you're a real estate agent and you're not with Century 21 Limitless or one of the affiliated offices like mine, this is one of the reasons to consider giving me or Kyle a call, because we're in a company where we're constantly looking to add value, add layers of value to what is offered first to our agents, then to the outer community.
Right.
And not so much as proprietary because we're in a cooperative system, but where are you going to get the leg up if you're a real estate agent, and who else is really, I mean, this is one piece of it. If tiny homes aren't your thing, I don't think you're thinking right, because you have to understand where the market's going. But there's so many layers to what we're doing, where I really feel like that's something I wanted to touch on. That obviously we're here, we're both Century 21 Limitless stalwarts. This is what we do. So I mean, that's one of the things that we're bringing to the table is new opportunities.
We're giving realtors, we haven't announced it yet, but we're giving them a commission on any they sell.
Yeah.
So if you bring a client to us, we will give you a 3% commission.
You heard it here first, boom.
And it's a 3% commission on whatever the purchase price of that tiny home is.
That's not bad for that.
You don't have to be with us. You don't have to be part of us. You don't have to, any real estate agent that brings, it could be someone's mom's house, whatever. It's another way for people to bring income. So we've understood, and what I said is from the top is I said, if we can incentivize people to go this route, I think it makes a lot of sense. When there's limited inventory, this is a great way for agents to make money on things that you're basically producing inventory on your own. We talked about it before, manufacturing your own inventory.
That's what we do. We have to, if you're a real estate agent, we're seeing a lot more agents say, how do I get into building? How do I get into development?
Right.
How do I create
This is
units?
the most I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Tons and tons and tons.
We got to solve the problem. You know, if we're going to wear the badge and say we're going to wear the hat and we're going to do it and this is what we provide. So part of that is taking the income that we earn for selling houses and investing into the community development. And, you know, obviously it's the profit motive that drives us, but it's the impact that happens to the community that we can be proud of afterwards, you know? All right, so changing gears, personal question, getting to know Kyle. This is one that's been interesting to me for people. All right, so if you could pick a number of money, you don't have to say what it is, but whatever amount of hundreds of millions you'd be satisfied with, and you had that amount of money, right?
Yeah.
Would you rather be completely famous or virtually unknown? So would you rather, so if you said you can't get any more money, you can't use the fame to leverage any more money, you got $250 million sitting in the bank and you got all the houses you want, would you rather be famous and go places people are like...
Nah, I like that. That's me.
You want to be well known?
Yeah, that's me.
You'd say
100%.
It wouldn't be the money. It's not like...
100%.
Yeah.
The money's whatever.
Yeah, the money's whatever, but you want to go there.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I'm getting on, I have a podcast, I don't know if you know who Brad Lee is.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
So I got a podcast scheduled with him. I'm flying out there pretty soon.
It would be interesting to talk to a guy like you, absolutely.
So I'm going out there. We're doing a training program together. So we signed a deal last week.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that. He built Andy Elliott. He built Grant Cardone. Like, he's the one behind all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to take that on together.
Congratulations.
So that's, it's good. We'll see. So we got a long way to go. We're just getting started. We've had a bunch of calls together, a bunch of Zooms together. So it's been good.
So let me ask you this. What if you had to give up half the money?
I'd still take the other.
You'd still want the fame.
Yeah, because you can always make more money.
You can always... That's the interesting thought process. I might be the opposite.
I'm not shocked by that.
Yeah, I might say if I could say now I understand that you need to put your name out there to earn a living and to grow your brand, and if you have a brand you believe in, you have to put it out there, and then you stand behind it, and you're standing behind something bigger than you.
Correct.
But there's a part of me that says if you're gonna give me like 250 mil, all the houses I want, and I can go anywhere and nobody's going to talk to me. I can talk to whoever I want about whatever I want. Nobody's ever going to bother me when I go to the mall. I might settle at that point.
That's boring, though.
You think it's boring?
For me, it's boring, but that's why we're different. That's why that has no interest in me.
You know what's funny? With how much I'm known for talking.
Yeah. Oh, you are?
Yeah. People would probably think that would be reversed unless they really knew us.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
But either way, we're both getting there. I guess that's one of those things that just shows you that, you know, different people are driven by different things.
Everybody's got different reasons and different rationales. And I don't think it's a driver. I just think it's something that's interesting to me.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I like to talk to people. I like to be out there. I like to be in front of people. Yeah. I enjoy traveling. I enjoy going on things. I enjoy speaking on stage. Like, I like that stuff.
Yeah. It's empowering. Speaking on stage is something totally different. And
it's hard to get used to.
Yep.
It's very hard. I still do the best I can with it. It's hard.
You know what I remember? What's the worst that could happen from this? If I don't do something crazy If it's really good, they're going to remember me.
As long as your pants don't fall down,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
good.
If I don't do something absolutely
like
nuts, right?
idiotic,
yeah,
you're
like
good.
so if it's really good, they'll carry it with them. If it's really bad, they'll justify why they went in the first place.
Correct.
And be like, it wasn't that bad, and then forget about it by dinner time.
Correct. There's plenty of people that have done a bad. I mean, you just want to make sure you put a good product out with whatever you do. So I think that's at the end of the day what it comes down to.
So on that note, I mean, 2024, it's going to be a great year in real estate. You heard it here, probably not first, but you're going to hear it here strongest. Like I said, if you watch this, you watch till the end, you haven't liked, followed, subscribed to whatever service, Facebook, Insta you're watching on, you probably should, because Kyle and I are keeping it real. No matter how many Brad Lee podcasts this guy goes on, he's still going to be out selling houses the next week.
That's right.
No matter what I do, I'm still going to be selling houses, managing investments, helping buyers, sellers, and investors located in Warwick, Rhode Island, with offices all around southeastern Massachusetts, Eastern Connecticut, and growing. So that's what we do. We're real estate brokers, investors, here to serve the community. And if you're looking forward to reaching out, please do. Century 21 Limitless. This is my guy, Kyle Seyboth.
You got any questions you missed that you want to get to?
Any questions?
Did you have anything? I know you had some stuff written down. Anything you missed that was good?
Realtors, if realtors watching this still, get your CEs, get your CE credits, April 15th. You got to have 24 CE credits, however you do it, whether you go online, whether you go in person, whether you love it or hate it, you got to do it. So don't forget that. You heard it here. You can thank me for that one.
All right, man. Good job.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.